Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here. So this is my relationship video number 2, which is in regards to going through a divorce during the holidays. So if you're watching this video, whether you're going through your first holiday on your own, or maybe this is the 10th one on your own and you just need some inspiration and kind of some life reminders, this video is definitely for you. Going through your first holiday season alone during a time of separation or divorce is not easy. It can be pretty miserable. My separation happened with my ex-husband on October 18th of 2017. And he was a very logical, very bold, and daring human being. And he told me, he goes, look, he's like, there's no good time to do this. He's like, I can do it now or I can wait till after the holidays. And he's like, what would be worse? He's like, the timing will never be right. And to some degree, he was very correct on that. The timing was not good because it's like, oh my God, the holiday season was starting in 4 or 5 weeks. But it just timing is never good when you're going through a divorce. But so anyways, my situation started mid-October and my whole world turned upside down, just like any bad breakup would do that to somebody. The holiday season, the first one was really rough. And now that I'm entering my second one, I'm by myself and I've done the inner work, and this holiday season is amazing. I am single, I'm on my own. I've kind of, I had to pick myself up by my bootstraps and do certain things, but I did the work, and the way that I'm celebrating this holiday season now versus a year ago is completely different. Last year, I ended up going home for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I remember just feeling so empty and alone. I felt so much pain. I developed a lot of chest pain over my heart, which was some pain that I felt for a while actually during that time, because I think energetically I sensed some form of distance and disconnection that was happening between he and I, and that pain manifested in my breast and in my left pec muscle. So that was kind of interesting, but I even went through something, I think, like a spiritual miscarriage. I had such bad gut pain. I would lie on the ground in the fetal position, just absolutely crying in tears on the floor of my living room in my apartment, just because something inside of me felt like it was missing. And I think I was going through some form of grieving process, that I wasn't going to, have a child with this man. Like the disconnection, the bond of our power centers and of our souls and our gut, were being disconnected. And if you haven't watched my videos before, I'm a very spiritual human being that has a lot of sensitivities to energies, so I pick up on certain things with people. And obviously when you're disconnected to somebody that you are with in a marriage or on a deeper soul bond, you can feel these things. And I do believe that he and I were soulmates. We weren't it wasn't necessarily, this like beautiful romance novel, but we were definitely soulmates in a lot of ways. And that did include a lot of very sweet and cute romantic things. Anyways, my point is, I really recommend, if you're going through a divorce through your first holiday season, I do think disconnecting from technology and social media is a very good idea. I think a lot of times we tend to feel worse when we're going onto those social sites because we're seeing everybody have this beautiful life experience with their family, and social media is only a small snapshot of someone's life, and it's always the good things. So for example, if you see somebody posting a rock climbing video that they conquered this really hard problem, they're not posting the videos about them trying and failing and falling off the wall the 39 times it took to get up that problem on the 40th time. So that's the thing. It's a snapshot. It's like, look at me, like, wow, I got this certificate, or wow, look at my great family. So I do think disconnecting from technology through this time will help your psychological state and your mental health. I really feel you need to surround yourself with friends and family, but specifically family, because, family is family. They're always going to be there for you through thick and thin. Now, I know that a lot of people don't have healthy family situations, so that is a different conversation and topic, but for the most part, even if it's a distant cousin or an aunt or an uncle, somebody is going to be very empathetic with the pain that you're experiencing, and maybe they even went through a similar experience. I have a cousin who is out here in the Northwest, and she went through a divorce, and she kind of offered her home to me. I ended up never making it down to Portland because I didn't have the money for it at the time, but I just remember she just understood what I was going through. My mother understood what I was going through, and although my sister's never been divorced, everybody, all of my family, they were there for me, and they heard me complain and cry and whine, for like ever. And the thing is, I remember my mother, she just called me and or at least messaged me like every single day. She was just so worried about me. And so I think connecting through people that you love, whether that's friend or family members or people from your spiritual communities or whatever, workmates, people are going to be there for you because they're going to want to see you. People don't want to see you sad. They want to see you happy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The first holiday season absolutely sucked. Like, I remember going through photos at my mom's house and I just started crying because I was like, oh my God, I thought I was going to have a family with this guy, and it's like that whole world is turned upside down. And at the time I was 32, now I'm 33, and I thought, oh God, like I got to start over again in my 30s. I have to experience this modern dating world. And you just have to go through the flow of the emotions. But really, if you can, try to focus on some of the positives that are there or that fulfill you during the holiday season. I love cooking and baking. That is something that was very difficult for me. I actually had to stop doing it because I was cooking generally for two people. So if I baked a pie, it's like, oh my God, now I had to like eat it by myself. Or my ex was like kind of the garbage disposal and would just eat all, I'd be like, oh God, I don't want this anymore. You want to eat it? He's like, yeah. So, I had to cut back a little bit on things like that. And maybe you have to cut back on something that is chronically triggering some wound or reminder for you. But you can also focus on a lot of the things that you had. I loved Christmas season. So something like decorating my apartment was really special for me. And to some degree, if you can see behind me, half of my house is filled with like antique stuff. It's part modern, part antique, part vintage. And during that holiday season, there was a ton of estate sales. There was like an antique store that was closing at the Pike Place Market. And I just took that time. I stopped worrying about money, and I started getting certain things to make my home my own identity. And I'm not saying that you necessarily have to do that during the holiday season. It just so happened that I started that path and journey through the holiday season. So, because we lived like nomads before, there was like never anything on the wall besides a few things from Germany. But I think just allowing yourself to be present and in the moment and really practicing on the power of now. So, if you find that Thanksgiving Day is miserable for you, and because you have all these memories of going on Thanksgiving, to your in-laws or something like that, I think these are things that you're going to have to grieve and go through, and not block the emotions or don't sweep things under the rug. Go through the emotions, but still try to connect with your family, and still, if you can, try to take your mind a little bit off the situation. For me, it was movies. Movies were something that I used to do with my ex-husband and I, so a lot, and that was really painful at first because I was sitting next to my friend and I was like, I shouldn't be here with my friend, I should be here with him, and that is difficult. But you have to get the ball rolling to start doing things on your own and coming to some form of acceptance and peace, and that's not going to necessarily be easy, and it's not going to come quickly, especially during the holiday season. But these are things that you can do to try to keep your mind off of stuff. Like, I couldn't watch World War II movies because we lived in Germany. You know, there's this huge history of World War II between he and I. My family survived World War II. He was just so fascinated with it, so that was one of our bonds. It's like I just couldn't watch any movies that had like Berlin or Germany or anything in it. So, you know, try to do things that aren't necessarily everything that you guys have done, but just connect within you. Try to do some things that will keep your mind off of it, or some things that are a little bit newer. Maybe you've always wanted to try ballet class, and what better time to start than the holiday season to do it. And I think journaling is a really great thing at that point in time. I had to do it. I had to do a lot of like releasing work, and I felt that was very beneficial. So I don't know if I give you any hope or any advice, but I'll tell you it gets better as time goes on. I think the first thing for every either holiday or anniversary or birthday that you have, there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect. That's why a lot of therapists say you should give yourself a year of healing before you really start entering other relationships and certain things in your life. It's because it's like, oh, you know, if your anniversary was on Labor Day weekend, like those memories are going to re-trigger yourself. But the more you go through it, the easier it gets. And in my former video, I'm entering this holiday season completely different than I would have anticipated. I just thought like, oh man, like the Camino really helped me. And I thought like, oh God, I'm going to feel lonely. Like a lot of people do feel lonely during the holiday season, but I don't let that stuff stop me. And I'm having an amazing holiday season. I'm on my own. I'm single. You know, it's like I did the work on myself and in my life. And so it's a completely different vibe. I didn't have money to move to a new apartment. I know these things are really nice for people to get a fresh start, a fresh location, but I can't afford other rent in the city because it's just too expensive. Like a one bedroom is, you know, can go for like $2,500. And so it's just these memories, and time heals the wounds, and you process these things. And it's like, I look at my apartment now, behind my computer, it's all decorated for Christmas, and it's not like I'm swarming in memories like I did last year. So those are some little bits and pieces of thoughts kind of on my experience, and some things that I recommend doing during the holiday season. If it's your first one, it's not going to be easy. Just go with the flow of your emotions. It does get easier with time. Connect with your family. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe below if you can help me build this channel. That would be great. And I hope you guys have a great season. Bye.